Please welcome Vivian Liu.
What makes life worth living? Not just surviving, not just checking off boxes, but really living. Is it the rewards, the milestones, the promotions, or is it something smaller? Something that we don't even notice when it initially happens, but years later we look back and realize that that was the moment that mattered the most. We don't ask these questions enough because we live in a world obsessed with progress, with efficiency, and with making every moment productive. From the time we're kids, we're told to pick a career, to focus, and to specialize. But what if that's the wrong way to live? Because what if there was a time when people didn't just live to work? They worked to live fully. Imagine stepping into a bustling marketplace in Florence during the Renaissance. The air is thick with the scent of fresh paint, parchment, and candle wax. Musicians play in the town square, their melodies weaving through the conversations of artists, scientists, poets, and philosophers. Inside a small workshop, a sculptor carefully chisels away at a block of marble. But later that evening, he'll study human anatomy in a candlelit studio. Across the city, a mathematician debates physics in the morning, but spends his afternoon painting frescoes across the chapel ceiling. No one is just one thing. A sculptor is also an inventor, a mathematician is also a musician, and a writer is also a scientist. This was the Renaissance, a time when curiosity had no limits, when people explored for the sake of exploring, learned for the sake of learning, and created not just because it was useful, but because it was beautiful. And for a moment in history, the world was alive with possibility. But somewhere along the way, we've lost this. Today, we've created a society of professionals who are experts at their narrow specialties. But these aren't the people who get great things done. We don't just need experts. We need Renaissance people. Because life isn't about doing one thing perfectly. It's about seeing the world from every possible perspective. And sometimes that starts with something small. When I was younger, my grandmother would teach me how to fold origami. She would sit beside me, watching closely, and say, "Every fold matters. If you rush, the whole shape will be wrong." At first, I didn't think much of this. It was just paper and just something to pass the time. But then I started bringing origami to school, handing them out to my friends, and something happened. They would turn the paper cranes over in their hands, studying them like they were holding something rare, something made just for them. Their faces would light up, and suddenly this tiny folded piece of paper became something bigger. That was when I realized something important. It's not always the big things in life that matter. Sometimes it's those tiny, unexpected moments that stick with us the most. But as we grow older, we stop noticing them. We stop making time for creativity, for curiosity, and for just doing things because we love them. We become focused on what's useful, what's practical, or what will fit neatly onto a resume. But the moments that make life feel full, they don't come from efficiency. They come from the things that we don't measure, the things we do simply because they make us feel alive. And here's the paradox. Today, we are more connected than ever. We can text anyone, anywhere, in an instant. We can have virtual meetings across time zones, and we can look at anyone's life 24/7 on social media. But real human connection, that's fading. We walk past each other with our eyes glued to screens. We fill every quiet moment with distractions, and we move through life so quickly that we forget to just stop, to be present. That's why I wanted to take these small moments of joy and bring them to a global scale. Because in a world where everything moves too fast, we need something slow, something intentional, and something human. When I co-founded my nonprofit organization, Origami For Good, I wasn't an origami expert. And I certainly wasn't a nonprofit expert. But I was curious. I remember those small moments, folding paper and handing it to my friends, and how it created something meaningful. And then I started to wonder, if something this small could bring joy to my friends, what if we could bring that same joy to people all around the world? First, it was just an idea. But now, Origami for Good has grown into a global movement with over 160 chapters in 25 countries. We've sent over 820,000 origami pieces made by teen volunteers just like me to hospitals, nursing homes, and senior centers all around the world, places where hope is often in short supply. We've worked with facilities in Pakistan, the UAE, India, Singapore, Japan, and across the United States. We've partnered with brands such as Krispy Kreme and Panda Express, and have even been featured on media platforms such as Houston Chronicle and Katy Times. But none of this is what matters the most. What matters are the small moments. Like the little boy in a hospital in Pakistan who spent an hour tracing the edges of a paper crane, completely lost in wonder. Or our volunteers in India who told us that the kids at a local children's home spent hours trying to figure out how each piece of origami was made, folding, unfolding, experimenting, and learning. Or the elderly woman in Japan who told us that she hadn't made origami since she was a child, and that folding again brought her back to her childhood. I've seen the power of these moments firsthand. Our impact also goes beyond folded cranes. We've helped volunteers earn over 10,000 service hours and created remote opportunities for students worldwide, proving that you don't need to be an expert to start. You just need to believe in yourself. I used to think that I had to choose math or creativity, logic or art, but I've learned that the most meaningful things often exist in between. We don't need more people who fit into one box. We need creators, explorers, and problem solvers who embrace both logic and creativity. We need Renaissance people more than ever. So if you take anything away from this, let it be this. Stay curious and try new things, and create just because you love it. The biggest impact often starts with something small, like a single fold of origami paper. Thank you.
That was 15-year-old sophomore high school student Vivian Liu.